The Galactic Council's arena trials had never seen such unanimous disappointment. When Kyra Chen stepped into the crystalline combat sphere, the holographic display showed her ranking. 99th out of 100 participants. The alien spectators, Valorian warriors with their forearms, crystalline Zephyros observers, and the insectoid Kryn soldiers, chittered and growled in their respective languages. All agreed the human was doomed. She was small even by human standards. No exoskeleton, no natural weapons, no toxic glands. Her species had only been part of the galactic community for 3 cycles, and already they seemed destined for extinction. The arena trials would prove what everyone suspected. Humans were the weakest link in the coalition. Commander Thexlar, a towering Valorian with battle scars crossing his crimson armor, watched from the observation deck. "A waste of resources," he rumbled to his aide. "Humanity sends this to represent them?" The trial was simple. Survive the arena's apex predator, the Void Render, for 10 minutes or defeat it. In 200 years of trials, only 17 beings had managed to kill one. Most participants fled, using every advantage their biology granted them. Speed, flight, camouflage, teleportation. Kyra had none of these. The gates opened with a pneumatic hiss. The Void Render emerged, 12 feet of midnight black scales, razor talons that could slice through starship hull plating, and eyes that glowed like dying suns. Its roar shook the arena, a sound that bypassed ears and struck directly at the primal fear centers of every evolved brain watching. The betting pools shifted instantly. Nobody wagered on survival anymore. Now they bet on how quickly she would die. But Kara didn't run. She stood perfectly still, her breath steady, her brown eyes locked on the creature. The Void Render charged, its massive frame eating up the distance in seconds. At the last moment, Kara sidestepped. Not with supernatural speed, but with precise timing. The creature's claws missed her by inches. "Luck," Thexler muttered. The Render wheeled around, furious. It lunged again, jaws wide enough to swallow her whole. Kyra dropped to the ground, rolled beneath its belly, and came up behind it. Still, she didn't attack. She circled slowly, keeping her movements predictable, non-threatening. The creature's attacks grew more frenzied. Each time, Kyra evaded, never by much, never showing off, just enough. And she kept her hands visible, open, weaponless. What is she doing? A Zephyros observer chimed, its crystalline body humming with confusion. 10 minutes came and went. The Render should have killed her 20 times over. Instead, it stood panting, its massive chest heaving, watching this strange soft creature with growing curiosity. Kyra sat down, cross-legged in the middle of the arena. The audience erupted in confusion. Thexlar leaned forward, all 4 hands gripping the railing. The Void Render approached slowly now, its head lowered. It sniffed the air around her, its hot breath making her hair flutter. Kyra remained still but began to hum, a soft rhythmic sound. A lullaby her mother had sung to her. Then she noticed it. The Render's movements were protective, not predatory. Its eyes kept darting to the far corner of the arena, to a shadow-filled alcove, and its body, swollen, scarred, exhausted. "Oh," Kara whispered. "You're not a monster. You're a mother." She stood slowly and began walking toward the alcove. The Render tensed, moved to block her, then hesitated. Kyra kept her pace steady, her hands still visible. When she reached the shadows, she knelt down. 3 pairs of luminous eyes stared back at her. Cubs, barely a week old by the look of them, hidden in the nesting alcove that the arena's designers had never meant to exist. The Mother Render's roar had changed. It wasn't aggression. It was desperation, Kara understood now. The arena's environmental systems had malfunctioned. The temperature had dropped 15 degrees below what the cubs needed to survive. The mother couldn't leave them, couldn't hunt, could barely fight. She was starving, defending her dying children against an endless parade of warriors who only saw a monster to be slain. "The trial ends in 2 minutes, the automated system announced. Participant must achieve victory or concede defeat. Kyra looked up at the observation deck directly at where she knew the cameras fed. She pointed at the environmental controls, then at the cubs, then drew a line across her throat. The message was clear. Fix the temperature or they die. Thexlar stared at the display readings his aide pulled up. By the void. The heating system's been failing for 3 days. Nobody noticed because nobody cared. Kara's voice came through the comm system. She'd picked up the emergency beacon from the arena floor. "You're all so obsessed with proving strength that you forgot what strength actually means." She turned back to the render. Slowly, she removed her thermal jacket, standard issue for humans in the cold arena, and wrapped it around the smallest cub. It mewed softly, pressing into the warmth. The mother render's eyes, those burning suns, softened. 30 seconds, the system intoned. The render lowered its massive head to Kara's level. Their eyes met. An understanding passed between two mothers, for Kara had lost a sister to neglect, to a system that valued strength over compassion. She wouldn't let these cubs die the same way. "Fix the temperature," Kara said into the beacon, her voice steel. "Now. Or I'm tearing this arena apart, and every species watching will know the Galactic Council let children freeze to death for entertainment." Thexelar's aide looked at him, all four eyes wide. The commander's mandibles clicked in what might have been respect. "Restore environmental controls immediately." Warmth flooded the alcove. The cubs chirped, pressing closer to their mother. The void render nuzzled Kyra's hand, gentle, grateful, then gathered her cubs and retreated into the depths of the arena's service tunnels. Time expired, the system announced. Result stalemate. Participant ranking recalculating. Kyra walked out of the arena alone, still wearing her sweat-soaked shirt in the now comfortable temperature. The audience was silent. As she passed the observation deck, Thexelar stopped her. "You didn't win." "No," Kara agreed. "But they survived. That's better." "That's not how the trials work." Kyra smiled, tired but unbroken. "Then maybe it's time humans showed you a better way." 3 days later, the rankings were published. Kyra Chen, first place. The council's explanation was brief. True strength is not the absence of fear, but the presence of compassion in the face of it. Humanity had finally made its mark on the galaxy, not with weapons, but with what made them human.